I haven't actually made a video in a while, so hello. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get right on it. Thinking of doing something, getting some practice, and I figured Minecraft was a good place to start. Now these videos, or at least this one, probably most of my videos, will just kind of be just relax, I guess. I don't know. Just trying to get into it. Now I did have a couple practice videos I worked on first, and actually I did make a video, but I found that for some reason I was making mistakes when I was speaking, wasn't pronouncing my words properly, and I figured that might just be because I was speaking a little faster than what I'm used to. So I'm just decided I'd restart, try to speak normal. So we're gonna go ahead and create a new world. Redstone Mondays. Ep.1. Warming up. There we go. We have to change this to creative if you're following along. More world options. If you want the structures off, we don't want anything appearing when we don't want them to. Change this to super flat. Customize. We can leave it like this if we really want, but then we don't really have much depth to our world. So we're going to go down to presets, redstone ready, and we use this preset. Now we have 54 depth. We don't really dig down, it's just nice to have that extra height just in case you need to dig. And some stone to tell you, hey, you're pretty much at your limit. So we're going to click create world, and we're going to get started. So here's our super flat world, nice and wonderful. I'm going to go ahead, select some blocks right away. Sandstone. This is so if I accidentally break the ground, I can fix it and make it look pretty again. I'm going to pick another one, light blue wool. That's just so that we have a nice contrast between the redstone and the sandstone that's around it. I'm only going to pick things that I really need right now. So, you want the comparator, the redstone lamp, and some buttons here. Let's see. Yep. Oh, no. I like having this just for some demonstration purposes. So that's all we need right now. And we're going to go ahead. And now I'm going to... Little disclaimer. It's been a while since I've actually played Minecraft very thoroughly and often. So there's some features in this game that I'm not quite too familiar with that are fairly new. Because I used to play quite a bit maybe 5 years ago. Probably even earlier than that. Maybe 7. And so yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that's a little bit new that I got a chance to play around with within the past couple years, but not really too much in depth. And one of these things is the comparator. Now there's two modes for the comparator. I won't explain much about it right now, but there is the subtraction mode. I'd probably have to say that's probably my favorite mode. And the one thing that we do really want to know about the comparator right now with the subtraction mode is that if we have some input, let's say this block here powers this block here going this way, right? And if we take this redstone here, this redstone's powered at 15, just as this input to this comparator is powered at 15, because that's the max value that redstone can be at. So if we feed this input back into the comparator and have it output, we'll notice that the power signal only carries for one block. And that's because what's happening with the comparator in subtraction mode is that it's taking 15 and subtracting 14 from it and outputting the result, which is 1. I'm just realized I sound super monotone right now. I promise this will probably get a little bit more interesting. So we'll leave this out right here, just as a quick reminder for us. But what we can do with comparators is we can feed them back into, obviously other comparators make a loop. And this right here is probably one of my favorite things just to make. And so we have it set up like this, with this in the middle, right? This middle spot here is for actually, let's say if we want to power it. So I'm just going to power it real quick. What we can do is, instead of putting a block here and having it filter through like that, because the power has to go all the way through and filter out, what we can do is apply power directly to the center and kill the power to all the redstone wires at once, which is very useful, because what this is, it's actually a register. We can have this here and a button to reset the register whenever we want. Now a register stores, sorry, my screen just went black. It goes black for some reason once in a while. I think it has to do with my my recording software. Anyways, so we have our input. Now we can have an input to this register. We can have it pretty much anywhere where there's a redstone wire that's feeding into this loop here. But what we're going to do is we're going to have it here. Now we're going to carry this wire, the input wire, out 15 this way. 1, 2. Now I'm going to put an extra block one right here just for demonstration for people that haven't really worked much with redstone before. But if we power this, we'll notice that it doesn't make it all the way over here. And that's because redstone can have up to 16 different values, and one of those values is 0. This is the power or level of it. So 0 plus 1 through 15 is 16, which is a resolution of 2 to the 4, which is equivalent to 4 bits if we're talking about in binary. So this register holds up to an equivalent of 4 bits. We're just going to put these blocks down right here. And what these are going to do is power on these wires, the wire here, at different distances from the register, so that we can have a way of inputting different values into our register. Now this is honestly a really simple input system here, right? So if I push this button powers on the block powers on adjacent blocks, which is this redstone wire here, and it feeds down, and since it starts at 15, feeds down, loses 1 each time it goes through another block. It reaches this one at 1, and 1 is now stored in here. You can see that by how dark it is. We can even actually test that out here. If we put redstone right here, it should be off, which it is. So it's not really useful to have just an input and no output. So what we can do is another kind of component we can have is kind of an output. Oh, I forgot one thing we need. There we go. We didn't really actually need it, but whenever I'm feeding power to blocks, and it doesn't really matter what the power is, I like to use repeaters. You can use comparators. They work too. But I like to use comparators only when their functionality is actually needed. So the reason why I'm putting these lights on top of these blocks is that if I put a lamp here, the power gets fed to the block here, and just as the button here powers this block, which then powers the adjacent block, Redstone, same thing happens here. And that won't really work. It'll provide false readings because our value here isn't 2. Oops. The value inputted wasn't 2, it was 1. So that's why we can add this intermediate block. You can also put it in front if you want, but I like it on top. So I'm just going to quickly finish this up so I know how far I can go. Set that. Oh, perfect. There you go. There we go. So now we have a form of input, a form of memory, and a form of output. Some basic components that you can use in building, I guess, a Minecraft computer. So there you have it. Just something kind of fun, right? So we can store the value of 13 because it's 15, 14, 13. Oh, but we need to reset this first. Oops, 1, 2, 3. And I just realized it's getting a little dark. There we go. And so it goes up that one, just like it did over here. So there you have it. Hope the video was informative, and I hope it inspires you to try to think a little bit more about comparator logic, just as I have done. I've actually built a subtractor that actually has carry bits, right? And I've also used the subtractor to do addition by doing the ones complement for binary, converting it to the power levels and then doing it that way and then converting it back. But that's pretty much how you do it. So I would say if you're making a computer with these, I think the best solution to it would be a hybrid between the traditional binary, the traditional digital Redstone computers, and then you can add this analog kind of signals in for certain kind of buses and memory storage. So yeah, there we have it. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'll try to release a video like this each week just so I can get used to it, because I'm trying to start something up here and trying to start some other videos up too. But I'll let you guys know about those at a later time. Again, thanks for watching. Have a nice week.